Okay. Let me call to order the January 5, 2022 Committee of the Whole for the Pottstown Borough Council. Will you rise for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, starting with the subcommittee reports, Councilor Lebedinsky, Infrastructure?
No meeting.
No meeting. How about Transportation? Nothing. Fish and Methods?
No meeting.
No meeting. Ordinance Review Committee, Councilor
No
Prosper?
meeting.
Okay. Slow month. Economic Development, Peggy Lee's not here.
Yeah, so I can cover that a little bit as a representative of the paid executive committee. So obviously, there's two land development applications on the agenda later tonight, which paid is aware of and supportive of. So we just wanted to add that. That's it.
Okay. And while I have you, can you speak to us about the land bank?
Yes, the land bank did not have a meeting last month, but they are putting together a meeting between land bank solicitor and the borough solicitor to talk about the disposition of 707 Hamilton, which council authorized the solicitor to work on last month.
Very good. Emergency Services Report, Chief Hand, do we have something from him or?
He may have gotten called out to a
Oh, okay.
fire, but.
All right, we'll put it on hold till later.
Yep.
All right. Human Relations, Ms. Levengood.
Hey, good evening, councilors, council president. Martin Luther King Day is January the 17th, and that is to celebrate the life and achievements of the influential and American civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King. The commission's next meeting will be held on Tuesday, January the 11th, 2022 at 6:00 p.m. in council chambers, and all are welcome to attend.
Very good, thank you. On the library, Ms. Hilton?
Yes, good evening, everyone. We haven't had a major change at the library since our last report to you. The executive director, Mrs. Holly Chang, has retired after 2 years in that position and 22 years in the library. She grew up here, went to Pottstown High School, and knew many of our patrons and their families. And we're losing a lot of institutional memory. We are lucky, however, to have Mrs. Mindy Lipsky, our Youth Services Director, who is able and willing to serve as our interim director for the next 3 months. The board will begin the process of hiring an executive director this month, advertising the position and interviewing applicants. We hope to have the position filled in March. And a last note, we want to thank the borough for supplying the concrete barriers now blocking the Washington Street opening to our parking lot. So far, it's been a help to us, and we're hoping to continue to see how it goes. And thank you so much for allowing us to do that. And that's my report.
Thank you. Ricketts Center, we have a written document. Anything to add to it, Mr. Kirkland?
I don't want to add to it, but I want to highlight a few things.
Okay.
The general operation time of operation is Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., which is the fitness center. Ongoing is the after school program, which runs generally from 2 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. There's Soccer for Success. Their new season will open at the beginning of the end of January. There's free karate classes Monday and Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. And they still have the Bread of Life shower program, which operates Tuesday and Thursday night from 6 to 8:30 p.m. So that's my report.
Very good, thank you. Mayor's report, is she online?
I don't think so, no.
Not on?
Wasn't able to.
All right,
No, she's.
how about the,
Oh, I'm sorry. There's 9 new memberships. Nine new memberships.
9? Okay, thank you.
We're happy about that.
Mr. Keller, the manager's report.
All right, so we have a good bit on the agenda tonight, so I'll try to keep it brief. Just want to update you, we did post our new grant source and use. That has been updated for all of the year 2021. Just as a reminder, that shows the grants that we applied for, the ones that were awarded, the ones that were denied, and the ones that are still pending a decision. So on the good news, we did receive a grant from DCNR for the Memorial Park Bridge replacement in the amount of $150,000. So that adds to the $200,000 that we got from Monco 2040 and the $43,000 that we got from Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation. So we're going to run the numbers again. We're still a little bit short of what we need to replace that bridge because there was another grant that was applied for through DCED for $250,000 that was denied. So we're gonna regroup on that and see what else we can come up with to get that project going. And then also we received word towards the end of the year that the DCD RCAP program, they denied our grant for the arch rehabilitation at 1200 High Street. So we'll be looking for other grant opportunities for that one. And then the CFA at their last meeting, they also denied our borough-wide LED conversion in the amount of $750,000. So we've sent Representative Cerisi's office some additional information on that grant, and he's gonna look into some other opportunities for us. And other than that, we are preparing for whatever snow we might get tomorrow night and Friday.
Okay, and we have plenty of salt, right?
We have plenty of salt.
Thank you, Doug. All right, it's at this time, we're going to hear a presentation from SEP1. Gentlemen.
Good evening. My name is Ken Picardi. I represent PSEP. Its principal managing partner is Terry Planton. He'll do most of the talking. There's the presentation, and we have a slide up there for you to review.
Okay, thank you very much. We haven't been in front of you in quite a while now. Things are progressing nicely. If you want to just flip it, Justin, I'll just go through it. Just to refresh everybody's memory, this is the lot. It's 451 Keystone Boulevard. 405 is next door at the Langford acquisition. That's the Heritage Coach next door. This is 10.3 acres on right off of Keystone, at the end of Keystone Boulevard. Go ahead. This is a 5-10-minute presentation at the max. This is the site right now. This was aerial photos that were taken in 2020. Like I said, it's an unimproved lot. It's in a floodplain. It needs to come up about 3 to 4 feet in different areas to get completely out of the floodplain, and that's part of our land development plan as well. Now, this is PSCP's delivering we're delivering a state-of-the-art plan here. We're trying to we're addressing sustainability with plant waste. We're working with the DEP to get what's called a permit by rule, so we can operate. We will be listed as a manufacturer of pellets and wood pellets and biodiesel. It's actually renewable diesel. Biodiesel needs to be blended. We'll make renewable diesel, which is molecularly identical to a petroleum-based diesel, and we'll move it straight as a drop-in fuel. This has a bunch of benefits to the economy as a whole. We're going to take 200,000 tons annually out of landfills in a 3-county area. The way we're doing our environmental, we have transportation benefits, we have landfill benefits, we have product substitution. We'll save almost 47,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide into the air annually. Over the 20-year life, it'll be almost a million tons of CO2 that we'll take out of the air. This is really important to the manufacturers in the region because they're trying to get green and they're getting increasing pressure on their exports because they can't meet the requirements of European standards for being a green plant. So what we're trying to help them become landfill free, and that'll help the local economy as well as in terms of additional sales and things for the local plants that will use our facility. We're targeting about 53 manufacturers. I showed this slide, or Jay Langford, when he was in here for a request for the variance. Our total investment is now up to $208 million, about $17 million in the building, and that's what will go on the tax rolls, and the rest of this is installed equipment. We'll purchase over 1 million goods and services locally. 110 full-time jobs, 381 indirect jobs, about 250 construction jobs over an 18-month period. We have an annual payroll of about 8.9 million, so that's additional wage taxes. 66,000 average is our average annual salary. So this is it's not warehouse work. This is good, solid manufacturing jobs with full benefits. We'll have significant property and payroll taxes to the community. Our biochar product may also spur some additional I just wanted to pass this around just to give you an idea of what we're producing. We produce, this renewable diesel. But what we're doing is we're going to take the cardboard, wood, and paper waste, and we're going to make those types of pellets, a wood pellet, and then that wood pellet gets gasified. We get renewable diesel out of it, and the residual is called biochar, and we'll have 4 silos of this biochar, which is a carbon product. We gasified 900 pounds of materials in Tennessee in October, just to test, and that's the actual biochar. Ashley Furniture is working with us. They gave us a 5-ton load of materials. We crushed it and made those pellets. That used to be a couch, and we got parts and stuff from them. It wasn't a great load of materials. They gave us, some real, but everything pelletized and gasified. So the biochar is going to spur some additional businesses in the area. Now we anticipate, thank you very much. We anticipate 5 to 10 plants nationally, and we're planning on having our corporate offices here in Pottstown. The next slide is showing this is a bit of preliminary engineering design is complete. We're like I said, a feedstock process now includes a pellet plant. All feedstock is processed inside. There's nothing going to be worked outside. It's designed for maximum uptime. We did have some issues. We have a non-synchronous production, which means that's why we required the variances for the silos on the back of the property, because we are going to have to store some pellets because the gasification side doesn't work quite as fast as the pellet side. We've determined, and with our talks with Norfolk Southern, we can't really fit a railhead in here, and Norfolk Southern was a little difficult anyhow. So we are going to use the transload facility here in Pottstown, and we will move that from a 25% uptime to nearly 100%. We'll move 18 million gallons of diesel through that facility annually. So that'll create some additional local employment. Recent project actions, our zoning was held November 23rd to grant the request for maximum height of the silos. We got that successfully. We've worked with Cedarville on the comments addressed for the borough engineer for all the land development side, and that's the part of the things that we're asking for here in terms of the waivers. We've been holding meetings with both the solicitor and your manager to keep that things moving, and the KEEP committee, who's acting as the development entity, or development board in this case, has voted unanimously to recommend the PSC plan. All the sewage planning is also done. We also signed an O&M agreement, and we executed that with Pottstown's HRG engineers for the borough, for the authority. On the land development side, we're looking for 8 waivers. We've already complied with all the, we had about 40 issues that the borough engineer identified. We've successfully gone through that and reached agreement on all of those issues. We need waivers for 8 items. These are the sections that we need waivers for, and I have, the next slide, I go down through these one by one. The first one's a formal application procedure. Normally, we would have a combined, we're asking for a combined preliminary and final land development plan. Again, no issues with the borough engineer on this one. Second one is physical features and topography. We needed to deal with some of the county and some of the borough issues. We needed to survey at 100 foot around the building. We used LiDAR data instead of a field survey, and that again was, Cedarville had no objections to that approach. We are short trees in the, we're going to plant, I think 48 trees, and we were required to do 60 under ordinance. I can't put 60, I'm pretty tight for space. We agreed to pay a fee in lieu of that landscaping requirement for $12,000, and we'll pay that as when we issue a building permit. And there's another one on the next page with the other item that we had a problem with was this was section 404. This was the open space requirements. The current ordinance is really not written for an industrial development. On my 10 acres, if I complied with the ordinance, I would be required to leave 4.5 acres of that 10 acres open for open space, and I just can't do that and fit this plan on this site. So we're asking for a waiver. We understand that we'll pay a fee in lieu of the open space requirement of $20,000 payable to the borough also before I issue a building permit. Section 22, this would require us to begin construction of Keystone Boulevard. We agreed that our MOU that we signed in April, that where we agreed to pay $625,000 for Keystone Boulevard construction as stipulated in the MOU would cover this section, and we're still committed to that, and you know we're committed to getting Keystone Boulevard completed. Outdoor lighting, this is a big building, 140,000 square feet plus. It's 55, it's right at the top of the ordinance at 50, it's 54 feet, I think the ordinance is 55. So we're asking for an extension of the poles to 25 feet from 20 to get the outdoor lighting the way we need it for a 24-hour operation. In the financial security, this is a bit, and this is in the resolution, a bit more detail on this. There's a lot of items in there, close to $3.5 million worth of items that we are going to have to post for financial security. We've kind of worked with the engineer and the solicitor and the manager to bifurcate those into 2 pots of money. One that we would pay when we record the plan, which is the stuff that's really the more public stuff on Keystone Boulevard and water retention and the grading and the fill and things like that. We'll secure for that. But a lot of the other stuff are things that'll be done at the end of the project, and we'll put a security for that at the time of us issuing a building permit. And that's just, we're asking for that waiver because it helps us in our financing, because that's a big chunk of money that would have to come out early in the project, and that's an issue at this kind of junction where we're still raising money for the main plan. The last one is a technical one. This post-development discharge rates, we couldn't exceed any of the, proposed flows but our proposed flows are insignificant, less than a 1/16 of an inch. And Cedarville agreed that they had no issues with this request, that those post-development discharge rates would not affect water on Keystone Boulevard in any significant manner. So those are the 8 waivers that we're requesting. We're requesting, that these waivers outlined in this presentation be further detailed in a waiver request letter, which is kind of working in with the resolution as well. And the financial security, we commit to negotiate in good faith with the borough to find an acceptable escrow arrangement that fulfills the obligations. We did get a preliminary cost estimate. We've passed that back and forth. Hopefully, we'll have that done before Monday, but, we'll work that out in good faith with the borough so that they get those 2 escrows, one with the recording and one with the permits that will be acceptable to the engineers and to the borough. And we request a conditional approval from the Pottstown Council on the land development plan. Short and sweet.
Very good. Councilors, any questions?
Yeah, in terms of the procedure, I know everyone's very familiar with this project, and this is part of the Keep Zone essentially, which was created jointly with West Pottsgrove to try to foster collaborative approaches to unique development to try to revitalize that area. The borough's been working with Terry and his team for over 2 years now. The key piece was April 2020. You entered into a memorandum of understanding with Terry and his team, which basically laid out several key aspects of the overall project. One of which was the process that this was going to be reviewed. At the time, we had worked closely with design elements that were supposed to be incorporated into the final land development plan, and as well as commitments from both sides as far as how to move this forward, which included some amendments to the zoning ordinance and commitments from their team as far as, how to make this more feasible for the borough. The project's gone through that process. The one key piece of the procedure was, rather than using your planning commission, you used the Keep Committee to serve that purpose, and that consisted of 3 members of the borough as well as 3 members from West Pottsgrove. The Keep Committee met to review the project, and at its December meeting, as I noted in my letter to you earlier this week, they did recommend conditional, preliminary, and final approval, subject to certain conditions, and recommended the waivers that are requested, also subject to certain conditions. At this point, given the uniqueness and the complexity of the procedure and the complexity of sort of what we've worked through on both sides, we've developed a written resolution, which we're still finalizing on our side, but we've shared with Terry and Ken, and are trying again to work with them to make sure we're on the same page before we finalize this. Assuming you want to move forward with this, this could be listed on the agenda for Monday evening, and we'll get you a copy of the resolution in advance, which would, at least as it's constructed now, grant conditional, preliminary, final approval, as well as the waivers that are being requested.
I think this is a good project for the town. It'll help stabilize our tax base, it'll produce jobs, and it'll fund roadway improvements, while all at the same time benefiting the environment for the planet. So we are comfortable with the way that the applicant intends to address the plan requirements for this project.
Mm-hmm. This council, last 6 months, we've been working to make Pottstown as business friendly as we could. Not that we're going to give the town away, but the hope was that when businesses were ready to begin, expand, or have an additional satellite, we wanted to be the place that you choose, and we're thankful that you are here. So I would like this listed for approval for Monday evening.
I do have a question.
Yes, Joe?
Forgive me if this was mentioned before, but I'm curious as to what kind of waste product would this process create, and how would it be disposed?
We don't really have a waste product. Our residual product is that biochar, which is actually a sellable product. And we actually think that it will generate additional industry. Now, we do produce, we will produce about 9 million gallons of wastewater, but we will pre-treat everything on site. We actually have a wastewater treatment on site. So when we discharge to the authority, we'll have everything neutralized out of that. Will be, that will be raw water that will go into and that will actually help the dilution content of the authority. We have some waste gases, which are propane and butane, but now we've realized that we can actually produce about 3 megawatts of electricity out of that gas. So we're working with Cummins engines to actually put additional, we may produce some electricity on site and even get a little bit more greener here. So we shouldn't really discharge anything. Our air quality permit we're just filing for, and we're a de minimis source of even air pollution. So we will have normal waste, for PPE and things like that we use at the site, but we're really low impact on the town services, for trash and waste.
Okay, so you say you're producing gases?
Yeah, there's a couple, we're producing a few gases. We destroy them. We use them on site to produce electricity, so we won't actually have much emissions at all.
Okay, good. And then water, and you said you're going to actually use that also to produce electricity, you said?
No, we'll discharge water. We'll discharge about 9 million gallons of water, but we're pre-treating. We have a treatment facility on site as well.
Okay. And is that going into, and where's that water going after it's treated?
It's clear. It's fairly clean water that will go straight into the Boro Authority, which we'll do a connection to them.
Okay. And then this char material that you're going to produce, but you said that char material is reusable.
No, char material is actually valuable. We'll get $700 a ton for that. Actually, our testing, it came out so good that now we were going to sell it as a fertilizer, but we actually think now that it can go as an input into battery production, and we might actually start another business with that material, one business at a time. So right now it's a commodity business, but we might actually be looking for more land eventually around here, so.
Okay. Now, does this char material produce any wastes?
No.
Producing it?
No, we just filed in fact, I just got the report today about leaching. We got a full analysis of it. It's pretty much 90% carbon, 99% carbon. So it'll be sold into industries that use carbon as an input.
Okay. So are you saying pretty much that this is a zero or close as you can get, a zero waste facility?
Actually, we're taking in 200,000 waste out of the landfill, so we're negative. When we go to sell this diesel, we have to do what's called a carbon intensity score, and right now ours is -25. So for every ton of materials that we bring onto the site, we produce a -25 tons of impact to the economy.
That's incredible. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. One more question on the char. Do I understand that's a precursor for graphene?
It's got graphene in it, and it's very interesting because when we went down and tested, it was the best, these pellets was the best graphene they've ever produced. This just as a look at this. This is what they're normally producing, and this is ours. Just feel the difference.
Oh.
you can tell by just holding it. That, so this has, and the color and everything else, it has a lot of interesting materials in it. Like right now, I can't focus on this right now. This is just a residual product, but it's getting a lot of interest, and from these pellets make a good char. And actually, we found out that when we were talking about the reason why we went for the variance, because of we needed those big silos. The gasification's technical stuff, and it's not gonna run like a pellet plant. We have to take the waste in from these manufacturers. We have to take it 365 days a year. We're not gonna store it outside. We have to process it. So one side of the plant's designed at 140% capacity, so it can run at 100%. The other side of the plant is too expensive to overbuild, so it's only gonna be running at 80%. So we have excess pellets. Well, when we got these tested, they were 9,000 BTU pellets with like 1.6% ash. That's technical, but that means that they're worth between $100 and $150 a ton on the market for people who are running wood pellet stoves. So now, what we thought we were gonna have 15,000 tons of something that we're gonna dump on the market, we actually now have another revenue stream with these pellets. So if my gasification side of the plant is not operating, the technical side, because there's technical challenges over there. That's a complicated process. I have a market for pellets. I'm producing good, and the pellets are producing good biochar. So all of our testing is going very well. And the graphene business, or whatever we do with that material, that's gonna spur another business off, and we're producing 24,000 tons of that a year. And so that's yet to come. I don't know what the business is, but it will be here because I'm not gonna move it very far.
So that could be your next neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. I'm already looking at the property on the other side too. So, that'll be another area on Keystone Boulevard that we develop. So everything's going very well.
Very good. Thank you.
We good?
No.
They said they're not coming for Monday night?
Yeah.
Okay. No, if he's ready.
Yeah.
And he's online.
Yep, he's.
Would it be customary for us to be here on Monday night? Would you like us to be here or?
It's up to you.
It's
but
up to you.
You don't have to.
It appears all the questions have been answered.
That's kind of my question.
Yeah.
Mr. Clapton resides closer to Pittsburgh, and, he'll be
Right,
here.
understood.
That's why I asked.
And obviously, you always have the option to come in virtually as well.
Okay, that's true.
Yep.
We will have this listed for the agenda, and council will take action.
Very well. Okay,
Thank you all.
I'll be in touch.
Ken. We have that,
Yeah, it's a condition.
Yeah, he's actually for another. It's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
We'll sign it whenever.
That's fine. Thanks. Yes.
We're just trying to check things off. All right, thank you.
Okay. Okay, I ask everyone to go back to 6B, Emergency Services. We have Chief Hand online. Go ahead.
Hello. Sorry about that. I had some trouble with my computer. I'm on my phone now.
Okay.
But I just wanted to give everyone a quick update on how 2021 went for the fire department. As you know, we dealt with the pandemic like everybody else, and we did pretty well. We never skipped a beat during that whole time period of the whole year where we were out of service or lost a significant amount of members to COVID. So we were able to function 24/7, 365 with full staffing at all times, which was unheard of in the area. So I just wanted to say thank you to all our firefighters and EMTs for that. Just a quick synopsis of the year, because I'll have a more formal report probably by the end of the month. We had 1,308 fire calls, which was about 200 more than last year. The significance there was that we did pick up West Pottsgrove, but that only generated around 107 calls. So we went up about 80 calls in the borough for the year. So there's no rhyme or reason to it. It was just the way that happened. We had 94 dispatch building fires, and there was 28 of them that had significant damage. And that total loss was about $174,000 for the year, which is pretty low when you consider that with all the building fires, we had the potential to lose $4.1 million in property damage. So that number was really well. The sad part was in 2021, as we all remember, we had that significant fire in June where we lost 3 people. And just to touch on that today, I'm sure everyone saw that Philadelphia Fire Department lost 13 people today. And again, it was a smoke detector issue. And even as of today, I've had 5 calls for new smoke detectors, and we'll be out there the next couple days hanging them up and, making sure our families are safe in our community. But other than that, we did have a good year as far as the fire department. We got out as much as we could for fire prevention and doing the schools and getting the education messages out. We did participate in a lot of the events this year as things opened up. So like I said, we'll have something better, but I just wanted to make sure everyone had a preliminary idea of what we accomplished in 2021. And that's my report, Counselor.
Very good, thank you. Okay, back to number 11. We have a presentation on the Pottstown Bike Race for 2022. Welcome.
Hello, and Happy New Year. So it's a new year, so obviously I'm here again for our annual presentation this year for the 2022 Pottstown Bike Race to be held in the East End. I think that over the years, we have demonstrated that we are able to put on a very safe and COVID compliant bike race, even in the most difficult of times, and we continue to have our intent to do that again this year. You have a packet in front of you that has the race flyer, as well as a detailed description of the race course with all the logistics of where everything is laid out, as well as a COVID compliant plan for how to implement this. And as you all know, things are changing all the time. So, basically, we are being rather generic from the perspective that we will simply follow the local, state, and CDC recommendations. And racers have become accustomed to that as well, even far back as 2020 when they were racing with masks on. So, they're willing to do that, and we're willing to continue to host the event. We gave out 75 helmets to children in the community last year. And by virtue of aligning with the ambulance department, we set up a food station, which raised hundreds of dollars for the Pottstown ambulance last year. And we would like to continue to work with them on that. So other than that, nothing else has really changed. We have developed a wonderful relationship with the community. The East End race course there those families have embraced the race and have basically been doing block parties and supporting the racers at the event. They even hold their little mini fundraisers on their lawn to help out the community. So that's been wonderful. And they have offered to help come out and volunteer to marshal race corners and stuff like that. They've engaged with racers, and racers have actually been very active on social media. We have over 18,000 followers on our webpage, which promotes Pottstown. And this year, we even had 2 billboards on the Turnpike promoting the Pottstown race, thanks to Valley Forge Sports and Tourism. So, I think it all points to good things happening and being able to give back to the community.
Very good.
So our event date that we're asking for is Saturday, June 11th. And in looking with the other things that are going on in the community, not trying to overwork the police or ambulance people, on any given weekend, I think that fits well around some of the other events. My only concern is that I would just like your thoughts on the condition of High Street and any repaving that might be going on as it comes up. Is there anything happening that might impact us?
Yes, but it's somewhat beyond our control, because it's a PennDOT road, but I think in that location, Pico is doing some electrical work and gas work. They were supposed to pave the entire length of High Street this year, but they ran out of time because the weather changed. They're hoping to get that in the spring. So check back with me in April, or March, and we can try to push them to get that, I mean, I'm gonna be pushing them to get it done regardless, but that'll just give me another
Yeah, I
reason,
mean,
so.
once we start and, with our permits and locking in, all the other things that go with the event, changing a date might be challenging. So I'd like to know that ahead of time. That's why I'm asking.
Right. Okay, we can try to find that out. I'll make a note here to reach out to them, but even if they give you a date now, it's subject
I
to change.
understand.
That's the problem, so.
It just sort of, trying to get a perspective of whether, whether we're within the realm of possibility.
They want to get it done, I mean, they wanted to get it done this year, so.
Okay.
They're gonna be eager to get it closed out by spring, early
Closed
spring.
out by spring.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's very promising. Okay, thank you so much.
Very good. We'll list this for Monday. 12 is the PA American Water Company, our assignment.
Yes, so at this time, I'm going to turn this over to the authority solicitor who is also representing the borough on this particular matter. So I'm happy to introduce Vince Pompo.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, perfect. If it pleases the council, I'd like to address both items 12 and 13 at the same time because they all essentially relate to the same matter.
Okay, do so.
Okay, thank you. So these two items involve three agreements that all relate to the proposed sale by Upper Pottsgrove Township of its sewer system to Pennsylvania American Water Company. As the council knows, there is an existing sewage treatment service agreement between the borough, the Pottstown Borough Authority, and the township for the treatment of all the wastewater that's generated within the township at the authority's sewage treatment plant. In order for the township to sell its sewer system to Pennsylvania American, the township needs to assign that agreement to Pennsylvania American, and both the borough and the authority need to consent to that assignment. As you know, during the period of time when we've been discussing this assignment with the township, we raised the issue of an outstanding obligation concerning the construction of a siphon project on Hanover Street that we believed the township should make whole to the authority before or at the sale of the system. That raised a dispute with the township. The township initiated litigation against both the borough and the authority, in which it essentially asked for relief that the authority and the borough be compelled to give their consent to the assignment, notwithstanding the position that this debt should be repaid. After hearing on that legal proceeding before Judge Smythe in the Court of Common Pleas in Montgomery County, the judge denied entirely the township's request for relief. And then subsequent to that denial, there were settlement discussions held with the township, which resulted in a resolution where the township has agreed to pay the entire amount that is owed to the authority, which is $470,184.22 upon the closing of the sale to Pennsylvania American. And in return for that, the borough and the authority is asked to provide its consent to the assignment. So the three agreements, items 12 and 13, that are for discussion tonight by the council, would implement essentially that agreement and the assignment. The first I'll discuss is the settlement agreement, which is fairly simple. That settles the outstanding litigation with the township. It has the ultimate provisions that at the closing of the sale of the sewer system, the amount of the $470,000 will be wired to the borough's bank account in the name of the authority. And at closing, the assignment will occur to Pennsylvania American, and the borough and the authority will provide its consent. The next document is the assignment. It's called an assignment and assumption agreement. In that document, not only does the township assign its rights under the agreement to Pennsylvania American, but Pennsylvania American assumes all of the obligations of the township under that agreement going forward. Now, there are some exceptions to that, and those are the provisions of the agreement which only a municipality, a political subdivision, can do. And primarily those provisions include adopting, maintaining, and enforcing ordinances. All of the financial provisions of the agreement, the payment of charges, the payment of capital costs, etc., remain in the agreement and enforceable against Pennsylvania American, as all of the and all of the flow limitations in the agreement, limiting, to what is purchased in the sewage treatment plant. All those provisions remain the same and enforceable. One change in this agreement is that while today the borough does the billing on behalf of Upper Pottsgrove Township, at closing, Pennsylvania American will assume the billing for its own customers. The final agreement is the support agreement, and that's an agreement to which Upper Pottsgrove Township, as well as the borough, the authority, and Pennsylvania American are parties. And in that agreement, the township agrees to do what only a municipality has the power to do under the existing agreement. So again, predominantly that is keeping in force, maintaining, and enforcing any necessary ordinances that are related to the operation of the treatment or of the collection system, which in turn are necessary for the operation of the treatment plant. So those are the three agreements. These have been discussed at a public meeting by the authority, and the authority board has already voted to approve these agreements. So with that, let me ask, are there any questions?
No, I don't have any.
None.
No.
Yep. None. Nothing.
Okay, very good. And I assume you will be putting these on your agenda for next Monday?
Yes, I will.
So he's the next one too.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Number 14, credit enhancement agreement.
Yeah, so I'm also going to let Mr. Pompo take this one as well.
Okay?
The credit enhancement agreement is another document which has been reviewed already and approved by the Pottstown Borough Authority. This agreement arises from a situation related to the existing management agreement that's in place between the borough and the authority, under which the borough operates the authority's water system. That management agreement includes provisions involving the borough guaranteeing debt of the authority, and also includes a management fee that's payable to the borough by the authority, that's based in part on a formula that includes a percentage involving the outstanding water debt of the authority that has been guaranteed by the borough. As you may know, the debt of the authority has been happily decreasing over a number of years. And as a result of that, the calculation of the management fee under the management agreement appears to have a shortfall in the amount of approximately $85,000 for budget year 2022. We all recognize that this issue of how one calculates the management fee now that the debt is diminishing will need to be addressed in some form sooner than later, perhaps a new management agreement or an amended management agreement. But in the interim, since the borough was anticipating that $85,000 in revenue in its 2022 budget, we have recommended in the interim the entering in of this credit enhancement agreement between the borough and the authority, wherein the authority will agree to pay the borough $85,000 in 2022 in return for the borough agreeing to guarantee any additional debt that the authority may need to incur, and essentially that would be in return for the credit fee. The agreement provides that if the borough is called upon to provide that guarantee and to, under a guarantee, make any disbursements in support of that guarantee, that any credit fee paid under this agreement would essentially offset any monies that the authority would owe the borough for its guarantee. So again, this agreement has been approved by the authority. We're looking at it as more or less an interim so that we can take a closer look at revising the management agreement so that the going forward, the amounts paid to the borough will clearly reflect what the borough is providing under that management agreement.
Okay.
So, any questions on the credit enhancement agreement?
Anything from council?
Did our solicitor look over this agreement thoroughly?
You looked.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all that.
I just asked if our solicitor looked over the agreement or the proposal.
Yeah, Chuck took lead on that project, and he did look it over. I was copied on the opinions, and he didn't have any issues with it.
Okay.
So on behalf of Chuck and yourself, maybe, you're recommending we go with this.
Yeah, correct, and I reviewed it also. Neither of us have any objections or concerns with the agreement.
Very good. Anything else? Counselors? No? If not, we'll list this for action Monday evening.
Will do.
Okay?
Thank you, Vince.
You're welcome.
Monday evening, without an extension. Council's at a point where they've got to act on the plan. The Planning Commission has reviewed this plan at its December 15th meeting. The Planning Commission did recommend conditional preliminary and final approval of the plan, subject to certain conditions, which the Chipotle team will talk about, and we can circle back with at the end, and also recommended the grant of the waivers that are being requested. I'll return and talk more about the procedure after the presentation.
Okay.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm Rob McNelly. I represent Interstate Development Services and Chipotle. Matthew just went through, I think, most of my opening statement into the Planning Commission. We're looking to redevelop the Friendly's Restaurant at the intersection of Route 100, Shoemaker and Robinson. This is Nick Fiola from Burstich Engineers. I'll hand it over to him in just a second for him to give you a rundown on the site and our list of waivers, which were also recommended for approval by the Planning Commission.
Okay.
So if I may, I'll turn it over to Nick and let him go through the plan.
Very good.
Thank you.
Sure. As Mr. Hovey said, that, the plan is to demolish the existing Friendly's building and essentially the parking lot. The new building here will contain a Chipotle restaurant as well as a 7,200 square feet of retail space. The Chipotle will have a pickup lane, not technically a drive-through, because their operations method is that you order via an app. Basically, you already pay, and then it's really just picking up. There's no order window or really waiting around. So there's the pickup lane. We will be modifying the driveway accesses. We're going to propose a right-in, right-out, what I'll say closer to Route 100. We'll also modify the existing full access from Shoemaker Road, as well as modify and utilize the existing access from Robinson Street. We are proposing, I believe it's 32 trees on the site. Right now, there's only about 2. We did work with Mr. Hilton and basically, took his comments and incorporated those into the plan. We are 12 trees short, and the applicant's agreeing to pay a fee in lieu of for those remaining 12 trees, which the Planning Commission, recommended that the council, consider acceptance of. We are also requesting a fee in lieu of rec space. I think it's 0.041 acres, and I think I don't know if the going rate's the 30,000, so it'll roughly be a little over $1,200 for that. We do have review letters. We worked through a lot of the comments. We are confident that we can basically address the remaining comments, as well as our outside agency permitting. Most of that has been submitted. We're still waiting, working with Mr. Yerger and the authority as far as for our sewage planning exemption and some other items with that.
Right. And I'd also like to mention that I know there are plans for a roundabout or a mini traffic circle.
Yes.
At the intersection of Shoemaker and Robinson Street, and the applicant has offered to make a $50,000 contribution to that roundabout.
Yes. Good. Anyone? Council?
I guess is the layout of where cars get in and out of the restaurant, is that very similar to how it is now? Are you making any adjustments as far as entry goes? Or is it pretty much exactly the same? You're just replacing the building?
There's adjustments to, I'm going to say like internally, but pretty much access is going to wind up being from the main two-way driveway there. They do have the option now of the right-in, right-out. The right-in definitely will help get traffic basically into the site a lot quicker than right now. But for the most part, the circulation will remain similar. Once in the future, when the roundabout comes into play, I think that would really help out, because we've agreed to close the what I'll call the West Shoemaker Road access. So then basically, the vehicles exiting would go out Robinson Street, utilize the roundabout and be able to get back out to Route 100 there, so.
Anyone else?
Are you gonna have a lot of work going on inside of the building? Like to try to make it look like all the other Chipotles?
Well, it'll be, the Friendly's building will be totally demolished, and it'll be a brand new construction,
Correct.
including
Yep.
what you're used to seeing in a Chipotle.
Okay.
I don't have it here tonight, but there was a site rendering, an elevation rendering that shows the views of the building and what it'll look like. And I just want to clarify, it's not just a Chipotle, there are also 3
Retail.
inline stores
Correct.
as a part of this development as well.
That was gonna be a big
So,
Chipotle. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, the Chipotle, like, if you look at the rendering, it's the smaller rectangle towards Shoemaker Road.
Okay.
And then the larger building in the back is the retail, which currently is earmarked for 3 tenant spaces, so.
I like your mask.
A friend of mine teaches there, so.
Great. And the action?
Sure. In terms of the procedure, this is another land development plan that it would make sense to use a resolution to make sure we capture everything, in particular the voluntary contribution towards the traffic circle is important. We want to make sure that that's documented appropriately. So the plan right now is to have a written resolution also prepared for you for Monday evening, which would grant conditional, preliminary, and final approval, subject to certain conditions, which would include the fee in lieu of the trees, the rec space, the contribution for the traffic circle, as well as delaying final approval of the architectural renderings for the exterior of the building, just to make sure it matches the importance of that real estate there by 100 and 200 Shoemaker, as well as the waivers. So I would recommend that it be listed for Monday evening, and again, we'll circulate a resolution by the end of the week for you to review and potentially adopt Monday night.
Very good. Then we will list it for Monday.
Great, thank you, and good night.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Okay, conditional offer of employment.
Yes, so this was for a request to hire an additional officer in the police department. So they're requesting to fill the position of a detective who had left to go with the county last year with the next qualified eligible applicant on the civil service list.
Okay. And list that for Monday. Master traffic ordinance amendments. We're going to get new additional stop signs.
Yeah, let me just get out
Okay.
of here. Okay. All right, so this request is the next step as we continue to evaluate and implement the changes in an attempt to mitigate speeding after a number of serious vehicle accidents recently in the borough. To address this to date, we have reversed a portion of Oak Street to one-way. We've repainted several existing stop bars and added additional stop signs to locations to improve visibility. The police department in 2021 also purchased additional speed notification signs and will continue to acquire more as this is budgeted for some of their equipment purchases in 2022. So through the course of our dialogue with residents and along with the help of the police department's traffic studies and Sergeant Hatfield's evaluations, we've identified additional locations to install stop signs as the next, but not likely the last step to address speeding in the borough. We would like to ask that you review these locations. They have been sent to you previously, and if you'd like to see any revisions or additions prior to Monday night, please do let us know. Potential action for Monday night would be to authorize the solicitor to move forward with revising the ordinance to include new stop signs at these locations, which I will mention, a lot of them are on the Walk Bike Pottstown route, where signs were removed as a part of that project. But we did reevaluate that, and it just doesn't seem to work in reality, so we're willing to change some of them back. Some of them are outside that area as well.
Okay,
Any questions?
I thank you. No questions, we will list this.
Okay.
I saw the accident totals for some of these intersections, and they could certainly use a stop sign, I think.
And I appreciate that that the people, the residents in Pottstown came to us with the concerns and we addressed it, especially, on Evans. So I'm glad to see that that we're going to take action on it.
Good. How about the sewer ordinance amendment?
Okay, so this is another one where we're asking for authorization for our solicitor to prepare and advertise an ordinance, mostly requirements that are being passed down by regulatory agencies for monitoring reports, changes for sludge discharge, and et cetera. We're still finalizing exactly what all will be in these ordinances, but again, a lot of this is required by other regulating bodies, so we'd like to start working towards that and authorize the solicitor to do so.
Okay. Any discussion? If none, we'll list that for Monday. 19, resolution deputization by the elected tax collector.
Yes, so the boroughs traditionally had a elected tax collector, but the tax collector has deputized the borough to actually collect the taxes.
Right.
So we'd like to continue that process going forward, and we would ask our current elected tax collector, Tiffany McKee, to deputize the borough.
Okay, understood? All right, list that for Monday. And another resolution, the amendment to the fee schedule.
So these are various amendments, some to right to know, some fees are revised for the right to know costs, and these are obviously passed down by the state body that governs that and in line with that. Other fees include fees for events such as barricade setup and tear down. Also, public works fees for the use of snow blowers, after-hour service calls, and mattress bags.
Very good. We'll list that for Monday. 21 is the Reading Gravity Soapbox Race for March 13 and October 9. And
Yes.
they do have rain dates.
So this would be on Wilson Street with a rain date of March 20th and October 16th.
Yes.
16.
And these are, there was a duplication error, so 2021 and 21 are the same,
Okay.
the same item.
Yeah.
It's just that the rain date is on one of them and not the other.
Okay, got it. So we'll list that for approval for Monday evening. 22, upcoming board vacancies. Let me see, on the Blighted Property Review Committee, there are 4 one-year terms. All members would like to be reappointed. It's A. B, Construction Code Board of Appeals. We need 1 alternate. No one listed. Is there anyone applying? Nothing yet? We need someone for that. On the Planning Commission, a 1 4-year term. Jim Durr's term expires, and he's here nodding, saying he'd like to remain. Thank you, Jim. Borough Authority, 1 5-year term. Mr. Jeff Chumnuck, he's also requesting to be retained for another 5 years. On the Zoning Hearing Board, we have 1 3-year term and an alternate. The applicant is for Jay Harp for the 3-year term. Do we have anyone for the alternate? Not yet. So anyone out there who would like to be the alternate for the Zoning Hearing Board, please come to Borough Hall and let us know. Okay, comments from citizens present. Have we any?
All right, at this time, we'll take comments from citizens present. If you're participating virtually, please send me a chat message prior to the closing of comments.
Anyone?
All right, I do not have any chat messages at this time. So, and we don't have anybody in person that would like to speak as well.
Fine. Okay, moving forward, councilors, general discussion and comments. Mr. Kirkland?
Just have a prosperous new year. I'm looking forward to doing great things on council in the next 4 years. I'm very excited. I just asked for, I'm sure we all ask for everyone's continued support, in what we do. I don't know. I just have a new excitement, even after 12 years. I have a new excitement for this next 4 years. And we're looking forward to it. I think that there's more for us to do. I think we're up to the task, and I think there's a lot that's going to happen in the next 4 years for Pottstown. I'm very excited. So all we need is support. We need support from Pottstown residents. We have been getting it. I would like to ask for continued support from the Pottstown residents. So again, I'm very excited about the next 4 years. Let's get with it. Let's do it.
Very good. Okay. Trinita?
So I didn't have anything for school board. You skipped me, but that's okay. That's all right. I didn't have anything. I didn't do school board today. And I agree with Joe. It's good to have the participation of the residents. For example, the stop signs. We can't do it alone, so we need you guys' help. So I appreciate everybody who texts me, call me, send me emails, and message me on Facebook of things that go on in Pottstown, good or bad, and so that way it give us a chance to address it. So I thank you, Village, and here's to another year, 2022.
Very good. Don?
No, I don't have anything.
Nothing? Lisa?
Well, obviously, I agree with what Joe and Trinita said, but I am really glad we put on events like the polar bear plunge. I know it's a little crazy, but it was a nice morning, meaning it wasn't super cold like 2 years ago. But those events really bring the community together, and they're fun to attend, and at least this one was outside. So I really enjoyed that. And like everybody else said, I hope everybody has a prosperous new year and better than the last couple of years.
Great. Thank you. Ryan?
I was just kind of, sorry to hear that our former fire chief, Mike Lesser, passed away. He was a good guy. I enjoyed working with him. Other than that, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the mayor on?
No.
No, she's not.
He's not? Okay. I totally agree with what Councilor Kirkland said. We've been doing well. He and I have been sitting here for the last 12 years watching this place just get up and grow. And tonight that's reinforced. If you listen to the presentations, we're about to get another 133 jobs coming to town in the next year. And we're hearing this in the beginning of January. Imagine what we can do by the end of the year if we all work together. I thank you all, those on council and those in the Borough Hall and those residents who help one way or another. Together, we can do almost anything. I'm looking forward to a really good year. Meeting adjourned.
Night.
Oh, it's off.